Wakenya hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. Muna furaha kama mimi? Asante sana. This is a statement by the National Super Alliance, NASA, at the unveiling of the coalition agreement on February the 22nd, 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, on January 11th, 2017, we gathered at Bomas of Kenya and committed ourselves to uniting all progressive forces under one political movement, the National Super Alliance, NASA, to liberate our beloved nation from the misrule of Jubilee administration. 3 weeks ago, we established a national coordinating committee and tasked it to spearhead the process. Today, we have invited you here to witness the next milestone in this endeavor, namely the signing of our coalition agreement. Upon the signing of this agreement and its lodging with the Registrar of Political Parties today, the NASA coalition will be both a political and legal reality. The coalition agreement that we are signing today is first and foremost our agenda for the nation. This is not a formula for sharing power and dishing out positions. This is a formula for solving the many problems our country is facing. This is our formula for putting honesty at the center of the management of public affairs. This is our roadmap for the returning hope and happiness to our land. It is our plan for a firm, fair, committed, and caring leadership. The document we unveil today outlines how different we are from Jubilee. Our promise to the people of Kenya is as follows. We will promote national unity. We will uphold, guard, and respect the dignity of all individuals and communities. We will return the country to the path of constitutional and democratic development. We will end the culture of impunity. We will restore sanity in the management of our economy and public affairs. To achieve this, we have agreed on 7 pillar policy platforms as follows. 1. National reconciliation and healing. 50 years after independence, our nationhood remains fragile. As a nation, we have never been more divided than we are today. We need to come out of denial and accept that tribalism is tearing our nation apart. We as the NASA coalition believe that this is one of the most critical threats to our nation. We need to confront this scourge honestly and boldly. We will institute a national dialogue so that we can talk to each other and agree on how to deal with the issues that divide us. Number 2, resolving historical injustices. Atrocities and injustices against communities have stalked this land since the British arrived on these shores a century ago. Historical injustices are one of the issues that stand in the way of national unity. The Jubilee administration's refusal to implement the TJRC report reflects the difficulties that we continue to have as a society in acknowledging, confronting, and resolving historical injustices. We as the NASA coalition believe that the truth will set us free. We commit to put in place a mechanism that addresses all the grievances that Kenyans feel have been inflicted on them. It is not for the state to set the boundaries and limits of people's grievances as we have done in the past, including the TJRC report. Number 3, realizing equality of women, youth, persons with disabilities, and the disadvantaged communities and groups as mandated by the Constitution in Article 27. From the NYS scandal, the plundered youth and women funds, affirmative action for the elitist women in the country, there is no arena that the Jubilee administration has been as cynical and abusive as in the women and youth agenda. The NASA coalition is bound by this constitutional mandate because it is the will of the people of Kenya. As part of this commitment, we have adopted in our coalition agreement the requirement that all our coalition structures and organs fulfill this constitutional requirement. Number 4, strengthening devolution. The NASA coalition is unequivocal that devolution is the foundation of our constitutional democracy. We are committed to strengthening it to the fullest extent possible. The NASA coalition will immediately surrender to the county governments all the functions and the corresponding resources that the Jubilee coalition has either withheld or usurped. The NASA coalition will also work to share out other functions where it makes sense to do so, notably development of school infrastructure and some aspects of security. 5, transforming government. Government is a servant of the people. We inherited from colonialists a government that was a master of the people. In our constitutional dispensation, we have endeavored as a sovereign people to establish a government that is a servant of the people. But the legacy of the domineering government persists in Kenya today. Senior government officials continue to view citizens as servants. The NASA coalition government will institute a transformation initiative that will cure this colonial hangover so that every public officer, from the president down, is at all times alive to the fact that they are employed by the people to serve, not to rule over them. Number 6, realizing social and economic rights as enshrined in Article 43 of the Constitution. In Article 43 of our Constitution, Kenyans have willed that every citizen has a minimum standard of living that includes adequate food, health care, decent shelter, education, and social security. 6 years later, this important pillar of the Constitution remains ink on paper. As thousands of Kenyans continue to live in deplorable conditions, as with the obligations under Article 27 above, this mandate is not optional. Realizing these rights is the foundation of the NASA coalition's economic and social policy platform. Number 7, eradicating poverty and unemployment. 50 years after our founding fathers committed to eradicating poverty, half of our people are still poor. The economy is unable to create opportunities for millions of our young people. In 4 short years, the Jubilee administration has succeeded in disconnecting the economy from the welfare of the people. We are told that the economy is growing spectacularly as life gets harder and worse. A record number of companies are issuing profit warnings and laying off our people from employment. The NASA coalition economic policies, programs, and projects will be guided by 2 objectives only: to put food on our people's tables and to create jobs and economic opportunities for our young people. Ladies and gentlemen, we now turn to the very critical aspect of this coalition agreement that speaks to a question that is on every Kenyan's mind: how we will deal with corruption. In this coalition agreement, we have committed ourselves to a code of conduct that sets the bar higher than has ever been set in this country. This code binds all of us and all the people who will be elected on the NASA platform and those appointed by the NASA government to the following: we shall not do business with the government either directly or indirectly. We shall not tolerate conflict of interest between public and private affairs. Every one of us will disclose their financial interests on appointment, so that we ensure that there is no potential for personal benefit from the policy decisions that they make. We shall demand of our members and appointees to take moral and political responsibility for misconduct, failing which they shall stand dismissed. What we are saying here is that NASA government will have zero tolerance to corruption. No ifs, no buts. There will be no sacred cows in the NASA government. This code of conduct will become binding on us as soon as this coalition agreement comes into force. And each person with a position of responsibility in this coalition will sign a copy of it immediately. What does this mean? We are saying that you will never hear, "Munataka nifanye nini jameni?" from the NASA coalition. The NASA coalition president will never say that corruption begins with you. The NASA president will never get away with passing the buck to the EACC or the judiciary. Our goal is to attack the culture of corruption. This is our pledge to ourselves and to the people of Kenya. We are telling the world that Kenya is turning a new leaf, that investors can come here without fear of being obstructed to extract bribes, and our development partners can trust that assistance they provide will be in safe hands with our people and our government. Last but not least, the coalition agreement is not simply a political vehicle or a bus, to quote Senator Kiraitu. We are not a bus which the politicians will disembark on as we assume office. Kenyans can bear as witness that we have kept the code coalition in good working order, holding the Jubilee administration's feet to the fire relentlessly and incessantly. This is the spirit that we are taking with us to NASA. We have created a coalition structure at national and county levels, and that will remain outside government and mandate them to ensure that NASA coalition government stays the course. Like in Tanzania, CCM keeps a permanent check on the government, and CCM officials can instigate and cause the dismissal of a member of government at whatever level. NASA is going to occupy that position in our coalition. To this end, this coalition agreement obliges us to convene a General Assembly once a year, where we will give account to Kenyans what we have done, and Kenyans will tell us where we are going right and where we can do better. This is how we shall govern as servants of the people, not as masters of the people. God bless Kenya. Hiyo ndio taarifa ambayo tumeandika zote wane na timu zetu za kuwaambia Wakenya leo hii ya kwamba msisimuko mpya umefika nchi yetu, mwamko mpya uko hapa, na Wakenya sasa wanafunga safari ya kwenda kubadilisha vile mambo yetu inaendeshwa katika nchi yetu. Sisi wane tukiwa hapa tunawahakikishia Wakenya ya kwamba sisi tuna imani, na imani yetu itatupeleka mpaka kule tunataka kwenda. Imani yetu itatusaidia kusimama pamoja. Imani yetu itawezesha Wakenya wenye nia njema, na ni wengi kuliko wale wenye nia mbaya, kwamba nchi yetu inatakikana kuwa nchi iliyo katika mstari wa mbele katika kanda hii, katika bara letu, kwa kuonyesha uongozi timamu. Si ajabu kuona ya kwamba baada ya serikali ya Jubilee kutumia zaidi ya bilioni 2.6 kujaribu kumpeleka dada yetu Amina kwenda katika AU kama mwenyekiti, tunashindwa na nchi ambaye imeboromoka kama Chad. Kenya haiwezi kubishana na nchi kama Chad. Ile pesa ambayo wametumia kurandaranda Afrika kote, na mnajua nani alikuwa anabeba kibunda cha kile pesa? Mtu ambaye anajulikana kwa kuwa na vidole nyepesi kwa pesa, kwa kuwa na vidole nyepesi kwa mashamba, kwa kuwa na vidole nyepesi kwa kila kitu. Hiyo pesa haikufanya kazi. Na hii ndio nchi. Kamata kamata. Kamata kamata. ODM, Wiper, ANC, Ford Kenya. Kwa hivyo, ndugu zetu wa Kenya, vile tumesema, serikali yetu inayokuja haina hifadhi yoyote kwa wale ambao wanahujumu umoja wa wananchi na wale ambao watafuja mali ya umma. Let me finish by reminding you what the late Wamala Kijana used to tell you, that a day like this in ancient Greece would be described as a day set aside for gods, for princes, and for heroes and legends. Standing here, we have no gods. Standing here, we have heroes. Standing here, we have heroines. Standing here, we have legends. And standing here, we have patriots without any limitations, without any boundaries as to what we can do for this country. And I want to urge you to live here asking yourself not what NASA will do for you, but what you will do for NASA, for the country to liberate itself through your individual and collective efforts, so that we give this country a government that it deserves, a country that can convince even our immediate neighbors. I feel embarrassed as your former foreign minister to stand before you and proclaim that we went to Addis and even Burundi abandoned us. A country for whom we have been paying salaries for their army could not stand with us. Uganda, that has been appearing to be advising or misadvising our leadership, abandoned us. Our good neighbor Tanzania, that has been the glue of East African community, abandoned us. So where are we? That is why you, and you must stand up to be counted.